This is the story of the greatest American muscle car ever made, because for all intents and purposes, it should have never even made it out to showroom floors. But what should have happened and what did happen are two completely different worlds. This is the story of the Chevy ZL1, and to understand this story, we first need to understand a little about Ford. The Mustang was developed as a response to the demand for sporty yet affordable cars, spearheaded by Ford Vice President Lee Iacocca. Under the code name T5, they began a teaser campaign releasing cryptic ads and hints about an upcoming vehicle that would change the automotive landscape and would be officially unveiled at 1964 New York World's Fair. As it drew media attention from all around the world, Ford quickly realized that they had something special, and the success put pressure on other manufacturers to respond. And it didn't just dominate sales, it redefined what a car could be. Fun, stylish, dynamic, yet not exorbitantly priced. But within GM, Chevrolet was tasked with creating a competitor that aimed to inject true muscle car performance into this new breed. Something better was about to come. The Camaro project was given the code name Panther. This project was initiated in 1964, almost immediately after the Mustang's success was evident. Now, while the Mustang was more of a sporty, compact car, the Camaro aimed to be a true performance car with a focus on handling and muscle. Built on GM's new F-body platform, the Camaro was designed for rear-wheel drive and could accommodate a wide range of engines from economic inline sixes all the way up to powerful V8s. The Camaro would be introduced in September 1966 as a 1967 model year car, right after the Mustang had been on the market for over 2 years. This timing allowed Chevrolet to learn from the Mustang's market reception and tailor the Camaro's features to address perceived shortcomings of the Mustang. Its introduction sparked what became known as the Pony Car Wars, where manufacturers like Ford, Chevrolet, Dodge with the Charger, and others continuously upped the ante to set themselves apart from the competition. However, the Mustang had already captured the essence of the pony car concept for a couple years before. So because of this, Chevy needed to differentiate the Camaro not just in performance, but to avoid being seen merely as just a Me Too product. Many immediately wondered exactly what a Camaro was. The answer varied wildly depending on who you asked. Chevrolet general manager Pete Estes claimed that the name referred to the camaraderie of good friends, as that is what a personal car should be to its owner. Others had more grounded answers. Some claimed it was French slang for buddy, while several in the automotive press were told that it was a quote-unquote, a small, vicious animal that eats Mustangs. Now, the team behind the Camaro was led by legendary designer William L. Mitchell, who was tasked with creating a stylish and affordable car. The development process was long and challenging, with many different prototypes and designs being created before Chevrolet settled on the final version. The base model was the Sport Coupe with a 3.8-liter inline-six engine, producing 140 horsepower. Buyers could upgrade to the Super Sport SS or Rally Sport RS packages, adding more powerful engines and features like hidden headlights and racing stripes. The first generation had a 3-year run with some subtle differences. These early years of the Camaro and Mustang set the stage for a rivalry that would define an era of American automotive excellence. As these two titans squared off, they not only engaged in a battle for market share, but also ignited a passion for building something crazy for Chevy that it took the world by storm. It wouldn't be until 1969 that this enhanced version was so deviously conceived that nobody could have ever seen coming. The year is 1968, and the Apollo 8 crew became the first to touch base on the bright white circle in the sky, aka the moon. But back down on Earth, the Can-Am Challenge Cup is going on, with Bruce McLaren using Chevy's big block engines for their McLaren M8A race car. Regulations at the time allowed teams the freedom to create unique racing cars with no limitations on engine size and output, which, as you guys can imagine, became a testing capsule for very crazy engine combinations. The engine in the 1968 M8A would go on to completely destroy competition. I mean completely, and make Denny Hulme the driver to win this title. It was after this that someone at Chevy had the wild idea of stuffing these engine technologies into a road-ready car. The beast that would become of this would have the most powerful production engine ever conceived through Chevy with the code name ZL1. And one man was bonkers on having them on his dealer lot. And this guy was Fred Gibbs. Chevrolet's motorsports engineers never counted on an enterprising and forward-thinking Illinois dealer and a talented Chevy drag racer by the name of Dick Harrell to be their saviors. These were just two ordinary guys that had been working together to build drag and street performance cars, but were looking for new projects. So Gibbs had the bright idea to use Chevrolet's COPO, or Central Office Production Order, special order system to produce the legendary Camaro ZL1. Now how this worked was, if a certain mix of regular production options weren't offered on a model, then a COPO was submitted. If engineering approved the new mix of equipment, then the order was placed for production. Now Gibbs's idea was to stuff the all-aluminum ZL1 427 block, which weighed over 100 pounds less than an iron big block, to give the Camaro a weight balance advantage on the drag strip. He only intended the cars for super stock competition, but Chevrolet didn't simply rubber stamp Gibbs's request. It took a lot of convincing from Vince Piggins, who was responsible for the Camaro Z28, to get the COPO project approved. So here's basically what happened. At least 50 ZL1s had to be built to make them competition legal, and they weren't cheap. The engine upgrade essentially doubled the price of the car, meaning only hardcore racers and enthusiasts were likely to cut a check for one. Gibb ordered the 50 cars, but knew he'd have a hard time selling them all, eventually sending 37 back to Chevrolet. They were redistributed to other dealers, and additional dealers got wind of the unique performance Camaro and ordered their own. When the dust settled, 69 Camaro ZL1s were built in 1969. It was rated at 430 horsepower at 5,200 RPM and a 450 pound-feet of torque at 4,400 RPM. When dealers got a hold of them, they were difficult to sell, mostly due to their high cost, like the engine cost as much as the car it was being installed to, for one. But adding the ZL1 engine to the Camaro added nearly $4,200. That pushed the bottom line up to more than $7,000, which was more than an L88 powered Corvette. Not surprisingly, they didn't fly off showroom floors. For those that got them though, they had a very fast car in their hands. But to get an idea of just how fast the ZL1 Camaro was, a stock version was capable of turning 13.16 at 110 miles per hour, while an unmodified Hemi Cuda clicked off a 14.25 at 101 in CarCraft magazine. Popular Hot Rodding tested Harrell's race-prepared ZL1 with the M40 in the July 1969 issue and recorded an 11.78 at 122.5 miles per hour. Harrell took this car, carrying Gibbs' dealer's name on the door, to an AHRA world record and was the 1969 AHRA World Points Champion. The ZL1 Camaro was the last big cube COPO ever offered specifically for racing, and it was undoubtedly the greatest. Fast forward to 2012, and the Camaro ZL1 became an official production model. Unlike the originals, this one was developed to perform on a road course as well as the drag strip, although the strip was definitely where it shone. Motor Trend was able to squeeze a 3.8 second 60 time out of it and a 12.1 second estimated at 117 miles per hour. The 6th gen Camaro ZL1 pushed the envelope for factory performance with a significantly greater power to weight ratio, about 60 more horsepower in a package that weighs about 200 pounds less than the 5th generation ZL1. I think the ZL1's mythology grew with the collector market for Detroit muscle cars. Its rarity and crazy performance credentials have made it one of the bluest of blue chip factory supercars. Current model leaves us in 2024. I think it will go out on top as the most potent Camaro ever built by GM. Certainly a fantastic legacy for the ZL1 badge. The car that was conceived and never should have been, but has brought American muscle car enthusiast memories for a lifetime. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.